idea too, right? That you can use, for example, Firefox to run the same project, right? And you're gonna be capable to do it without any kind of issue, as you can see over here. Okay, and so the if or the output in this case is A, right? So if I execute this, you're gonna see that the workflow is working correctly. But hey masters, welcome back to JoanMedia. Welcome back to another amazing video of Selenium IDE in this case. Okay, what is Selenium IDE? It is basically an open source kind of plugin that you can install in Google Chrome and Firefox, so you can record and play back test automation scripts that you can, well, actually record as easy as you can imagine. I'm going to try to explain you how you can use it, right? Step by step, how you can export your work in code terms, right? If you want to see your work in Java or Python, you can do it for sure. If you want to reuse your script, for example, if you have created your scripts using Google Chrome and you want to use them in Firefox, I want to explain you step by step how you can export and import them easily, all right? And also at the end of the video, I'm going to try to explain you an amazing feature that they have integrated, which is the control flow feature, so you can handle like different conditionals for loops and that kind of stuff, right? That you would like to see. I'm pretty sure. So please stay until the end, because I want to explain you this step by step. Right, guys? So let's start with this demo video. I'm gonna start with a simple scenario. All right. So I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna explore my extensions over here, and I'm gonna open Selenium IDE. In this case, we have like different options: record a new test in a new project, open an existing project, create a new project, and close Selenium IDE. All right. In my case, I want to record a new test in a new project. I'm gonna call my project like test project, for example, right? And I'm gonna click on this OK button. And then I have to specify the URL that I want to use, well, where I want to record my tests. So in my case, I'm gonna be using my typical website, saucedemo.com, which is a login website that you're gonna see in a few seconds. Okay, I'm gonna click on this start recording button, and you're gonna see that it is actually opening my website. And as you can see, if I click on maximize, it is also gonna be recorded. We have every single action that we are doing here, it is gonna be recorded automatically by Selenium IDE. Okay, let's start with entering the correct username and the correct password. Let's take a look that the correct user is a standard user and the correct password is secret sauce. And also check that probably it is recording the over action that I'm doing over these elements. So I'll have to delete them because I don't want to do this every single time that I execute my scripts. Okay. So I'm gonna start with the username. The username that I want is a standard user, but I don't want to have it automatically set. I'm not sure if it was recorded correctly. Let me check. I don't think so. Yeah, let me start again. I'm gonna stop this recording. I'm gonna provide a domain name here, and I'm gonna delete this because I think that I messed up the test. Okay, I'm gonna click on add a new test. The test name is going to be success login, right? I'm gonna click on add, and I'm gonna start recording with this button over here, start recording. Okay, I'm gonna maximize the website, and I'm gonna click on the username input. All right, and here I have to type a standard user. Okay, and then I have to click on password and enter the correct password, which is secret sauce, and I'm gonna click on login button. Now that I am in the website that I want to make sure that the title is products. So I'm gonna double click on this, and then you're gonna see how I can change this double click to an assertion. Okay, so I'm gonna come here to the Selenium IDE. I want to stop recording, right? And I want to make some changes here. Let's review what is happening. We have an open command here, which is basically opening the target / which means the base URL that I have defined, right? Then we have a set window size, which is currently the size of my monitor and my computer right now, but it is going to be up to, and depending on the computer you are running this, right, of course. Then we have a click on the username input and then a type. We are typing standard user. This is correct. Then we're clicking on the password input, and then we type secret sauce, which is correct too. And then we're gonna be clicking on login button. Then it was recorded a mouse over, but I don't want this, so I can delete it for sure, that particular part. And then we have like 3 clicks and double clicks that is actually targeting the title as soon as we click on the login button, right? The title was this this site, or actually this products title over here. I want to check that this title has the string products, or it matches the text products as soon as we log in, right? So I'm gonna delete a couple of them because I don't need to assert 3 times, right? And I'm gonna change the click to, for example, let's imagine I want to show you this here in this command part. We can add like different commands, a lot of them. You can, for example, add a selection, make assertions. You can use a debugger. You can use, for example, store value, store title. You can use a verify element present, right? Or actually wait, for example, until an element is visible. That's amazing too, right? You can handle a lot of situations with this command part. But in this case, I want to use the assertion, assert text, okay? The assert text command is going to help us to validate that this particular element, the title, has the text that I want to, actually make sure that it is the correct one. In this case, it's going to be products. So now that I have changed the click to an assert text, as soon as I execute again my script, you're going to see that we're going to have a final assertion in my in the record execution. There it is. And let me show you this. We have like 2 tabs at the bottom of the window, right? The first one is a kind of lock, and in case something is wrong with the assertion, we're gonna have like a clear path of what is happening. Let me show you this. I'm gonna add a double S at the end of this string, and of course it's gonna be failing, right? So you're gonna see a kind of clear log of what is happening there, and that's pretty good because you're not gonna be like missed and actually lost looking for the issue, because you can see that the actual value is products and it didn't match the products with double S at the end. That's amazing, guys, right? So also we have a reference kind of tab here, right? That for example, if I click on this command, you're gonna see what is happening here. What is the click command, what it is required, what is the argument that we need, and all the stuff that you need to know about it. So that's another amazing thing that they have included in the Selenium IDE. Okay, now let's continue checking something else. I'm gonna change the assertion back to the correct one, okay, and I'm gonna add another scenario. I don't know, maybe just to actually create another one, a simple one, but I don't want to keep working on the same test case, right? So I think that I need to create another test. I have to come back to the test part. Yeah, I want to stop recording, and I'm gonna click on this plus button, and I'm gonna use, or actually create a wrong user login scenario, right, or test case, where we can record again. I'm gonna maximize the window. I'm gonna use a wrong user, right, and a correct password, for example, secret sauce. Okay, I'm gonna click on login, and I'm gonna check that this text is now correct. We have to check if it is saying epic sad face username and password do not match any user in this service. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording, and I'm gonna check what is happening in the actions part. I'm gonna check what is happening. It is opening, then set the window size, enter the username, the password, they click on login, and I need to delete some mouse out that I don't want to, and also some clicks on the element that I don't want to. It was just to actually change the double click to assert text again, right? And the value that I want to check is this particular string over here. Okay, is gonna be epic sad face, username and password do not match any user in this service. So I'm gonna, well, actually execute or run this particular test case, and I'm gonna make sure that the wrong user scenario is actually failing as expected. And there it is, the answer text is working as expected. Now we have like two scenarios. In case you want to execute both of them at the same time, or actually in sequence, you have to click on this button, run all tests, and it is gonna be happening in sequence as I'm telling you. The first scenario probably is going to be the success logging, probably, right? Sometimes this kind of stuff happen. It kind of hold here preparing to run your test. So what I do is actually rerun again the stuff, because I'm not pretty sure why it happens. Let me see what is happening there. I'm gonna stop the execution and I'm gonna run the test again. There it is. It is working now. I'm sorry, guys. Actually, the success scenario happened too fast and you didn't see that. I'm not sure why this particular scenario is not working, but let me check. Products, and the log is saying that Windows wasn't selected after closing the previous one, aborting playback. Let me try again. What is happening there? Windows wasn't selected after closing the previous one. Could it be a matter of closing some? Yeah, maybe. Let me check again. I don't know what is happening, guys. So I'm gonna take advantage of this, and I'm gonna save this project. Okay, I'm gonna save the project. I'm gonna save the changes in my documents, and I'm gonna actually use the name test project to save this particular project. The type is gonna be a site kind of file. I don't know why, but that's the type that we have to set. I'm gonna click on save, and I'm going to actually close this particular execution. Okay, and I'm gonna open it again, and instead of record a new test in a new project, I'm gonna open an existing project. Okay, and I'm gonna come here to my documents, and I'm going to open the scripts that I have created. Okay, I'm gonna try it again to run all the tests, because I don't know what is happening. So let's go, let's see. Okay, and the success logging still doesn't work, and I think that it is because we have a kind of close record here that I didn't want to have. So I'm gonna delete the close, and I'm gonna run them again. Okay, yeah, probably it was closing the window before the assertion was happening, so I'm sorry for that. But well, you saw how we can import and export a project, right? Actually, this was in Chrome. This was developed in Chrome, and this is working right now in Mozilla Firefox, right? I didn't know that I have done that, but that's the idea too, right? That you can use, for example, Firefox to run the same project, right? And you're gonna be capable to do it without any kind of issue, as you can see over here. Okay, and we have another issue, but it is the same close that I didn't save. I'm sorry for that. So I'm gonna delete this step. Okay, I'm gonna save and rewrite the test project that I have done before, and now I'm gonna be, well, capable to run this in Google Chrome, right, with the latest changes, and probably both of them should work correct. Let me check. I'm gonna run them again. Let's see. As I'm telling you, Google Chrome sometimes kind of holds here for a long time, so I'm gonna run them again. I'm sorry. Stop text execution, and there it is. Let's see. I'm not pretty sure why it is taking so much time sometimes. Okay, yeah, it's kind of weird, to be honest. It's probably because I have executed like a lot of test scripts. It could be, yeah, it could be. I don't know why. Let's see again. There it is. Now it is working. In all the test scenarios and test assertions are working as expected. Okay, guys, let me show you something else, because in case you want to export, for example, the success logging and you want to see what is happening, for example, using Java or Python or JavaScript, well, you can use it for sure. So I'm gonna come here, for example, to the success logging test, okay, and I'm gonna click on export, and you're gonna see that here we can use different languages depending on our needs. Let's imagine that you want to check this in Java with JUnit, but you can do it with Python and PyTest, JavaScript and Mocha, Ruby and RSpec, and or C# and NUnit, for example, right? And at the bottom part of this model, you can see that we can include different stuff, for example, export for use on Selenium Grid if we want to, right? So we have to use or actually include the local or the URL, the remote URL that we want to use for this grid, right? Or include the step description as a separate comment in case we have added a description for every single action that we recorded. That's fine too. And well, in this case, I'm gonna click on export. I'm gonna save the Java file in my documents so we can review what is happening in that Java file. Okay, I'm gonna come here to my documents. I'm gonna open the success logging test. I'm gonna open it in my Visual Studio Code IDE. All right, and let's take a look at this. We have like a lot of imports here of all the things that we need in order to run this with Java, all right? And well, we have like three methods here. We have a before that is going to be instantiating the JavaScript executor if we need it, the driver with the remote WebDriver to execute this in the Selenium Grid, and the different bars that we need, okay? And then we have a tier down that quit the execution, the browser itself, and then we have the success logging method that actually uses Selenium, as you can see over here, a driver that get to actually get to that particular base URL. We have a set size to actually set the size that we want. And then we have like different find elements and send keys and clicks to check that the final title is the expected one as we wanted to have this working. Okay guys, I wanted to also give you an as I told you at the beginning of this video, an overview of the control workflow. All right, I'm gonna click here and you're gonna see what is gonna be happening. Okay, you can use JavaScript, JavaScript expressions to, for example, handle different workflows using if-else, times end, loops like do or repeat if or while and end, okay? But in this case, I want to give you an introduction of using a conditional branching with if, else if, else, and end, okay? And at the end, we're gonna be capable to see a final output, and you can use this knowledge to apply this to a different scenarios for sure, right? But let's start. I'm gonna click on a new test here. Here's gonna be, for example, the name of this test is gonna be the control flow if, else, right? Else if and else. And we have to start with an amazing command here, which is going to be execute the script, okay? Let me check my notes here so I don't mess with this. But yeah, it is execute the script. The execute the script, it can have the target using return, okay? And the value that we return here, which in this case is going to be a, okay? We're going to save it in a variable that we can declare in the value part over here, okay? So we can call this value or this variable my var, okay? Then we have another, we have to use the if statement, okay? And this if statement is going to have the target, and we're going to be referencing the variable that we have created before, the my var over here, okay? Using the interpolation syntax in JavaScript, basically, right? And then we can make sure that my var it's equal or not to a. For example, in case it is a, we're gonna be returning the value using execute script return a, and we're gonna be saving this this a, right, in another variable which is gonna be output, right? Then I want to make sure that we have another conditional statement which could be else if. This else if can make sure that my variable, okay, my var is, for example, equal to b, right? It is just an example, but you can use this knowledge, as I'm telling you, for your purposes, okay? Then in case it is B, well, we can execute another script to save the return B, or the B itself, right, in the output variable. So at the end, we're gonna be checking the output itself, right? It is a matter of that, okay? And then we can use an else over here. And this else is going to be, well, if it is not A and not B, well, anything else is gonna be, for example, execute a script, and the target is going to be return, for example, I don't know, C, right? And we are going to save the C value at the output variable, okay? Then we have to end this workflow with the keyword end. That's it. And then we have to make an assertion to make sure that the workflow is working fine. So I want to make an assertion to check the output, okay, using the target, and the value should be, in this case, A, right? Because the first execution of the script is returning A, and my var has an A assigned to it. So the if, or the output in this case, is A, right? So if I execute this, you're gonna see that the workflow is working correctly. But if I send, for example, the return, the value to my var C, right, it's gonna be changing, right? Because the output is not going to be A, which is the assertion over here. So let's go ahead and check that. Let's take a look of the logs, and you're gonna see that, well, we were expecting to have A, but it has C. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this kind of video. If you want to see more of this, for example, I don't know, maybe check more a workflow, like loopings, right, nesting commands, or maybe if you want to check the command line runner to run your scripts that you recorded, but using now the command line interface, we can check that for sure. Let me know in the comment sections, guys, if you want to see more of this Selenium IDE component. Thank you very much, guys. See you in the next one. Bye bye.